Welcome to the Don Pod, the supporters podcast. Here's your hosts, Sam and Nate.
3, 2, 1, yeah!
Hello. Welcome back to the Don Pod. Why are you pulling a face?
Hello.
Hello. I'm excited. Happy to be here. It's very hard to intro. Not that you would know.
Oh, especially we haven't done this for a while.
Yeah, get rusty. Welcome back to the Don Pod for the final podcast of 2024. Officially, we're here to look at the draft. It's all done, all in the books. I'm joined by Nathan, looking as dashing and as silver as ever.
Santry, as you can be this time of year.
You hate that, and you're the one that's brought it up.
I feel like you were going to say it.
I wasn't actually, because I know you hate it, big dog.
Yeah, it's this time of year I started thinking about shaving it all off and giving up on the world.
Please don't. That was awful.
Yeah, well...
I've never been so offended by someone else shaving.
No, you took it really badly. I never
did.
Understood that. You took it worse than anyone else. You're like, how could you have done that to yourself?
It's your main feature. Anyway, we're not here.
Oh, okay.
It's the main thing
My
you've got going for
personality?
you. No. Anyway, we're not here to talk about you and your beard.
Yep, true.
Or lack of. We are here to talk about the draft, as I said, and what did we use in the end? Five picks in the national draft, one in the rookie draft, a Category B rookie, and a SSP pickup. So we'll talk about them. We are going to admit straight off the bat, not our wheelhouse usually. We're not really big on the draft.
Well, we're not those ones that geek out on the young kids.
Yeah,
that doesn't seem right, but you know what I mean. Like,
didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah.
We're going to do what we usually do. That is, give our honest opinion, try to look at it as evenly as we can,
and fill it in with some shithousery,
and pick on Nathan some more. He's kind of where I want to go with it.
Woohoo! Go away. Let's bring it.
I'm standing up. I'm not sure if I was standing up for our last pod, so I've got extra enthusiasm and no green screen. As
you won't last 20 minutes, Tanny. You'll have to go down. You can't.
Should be right. Well, we've got to keep it. We've got to keep it to 40 minutes or less. Otherwise, Zoom's gonna shit itself. On us.
All right. Let's start talking about a player.
Sorry. Yes.
Jesus Christ. We're 12 minutes in, and people are like, "Are we talking football?"
We've been talking for 3.5 minutes. You prick.
Feels longer with you.
This is why people listen to us.
Just talk about a player.
All right. Isaac Kako.
Wacko for Kako.
Dons are indeed going wacko for Kako. Some interesting takes from the media around our decision to trade our first round pick this year to ensure it wasn't going to get swallowed up in that pick for Kako. Cal Twomey, the GOAT, says that had we have held on to that pick, it's entirely likely the bid for Kako would have come sooner.
Yep.
Trading it was the right thing to do. And now all of a sudden the media's attention is, oh, look, Essendon have a really great hand for the 2025 draft. So the tune has changed almost immediately.
Yeah, I felt like we were on a hiding for nothing in that one. Like, you know how, like, we did or we didn't. We would have looked foolish. And I think we probably ended up all right.
The Essendon Football Club are quite used to this hiding to nothing.
What's it? Trial by media.
Yeah. Anyway,
got a big example of that one.
We're used to it. It's okay. Isaac Kako, 175 centimetres, small forward from the Calder Cannons, the first Iraqi-born AFL footballer, which is quite cool.
Yep.
Obviously, this was a surprise to no one. This was always going to happen. NGA.
Once we made that trade with Melbourne, that was the whole focus.
That was it. So, Rookie Central. Yep. His strengths are identified as agility, creativity, ground balls, speed, vision, and X factor, all of which gives me great hope and joy for us. I think pretty much every one of them we need. And some of
I think there's a bit of a theme actually in this group. Like when we get to the end, I think you'll notice a theme, people.
The improvements they've got there is composure and defensive output. I mean, defensive output as a small forward, I mean, you get away
Eddie
with
Betts never chased anyone.
I don't think so. And composure, hopefully that'll come.
Yep.
That's okay again. The big one for us, I think, in this period, it's filling a hole that we desperately need filled. It's been vacant since Tip and Woody left, and really over the course of 20 years, Tipper's been about the only genuine small forward.
Yeah. You're probably right there. Well, he's probably been the best small forward
Best, yes,
statistically
sorry.
in that period. Yeah. There's a bit of pressure on obviously one of the Davies. Seems like the other Davies gone. So yeah. Anyway,
I mean, thoughts? Do you have any thoughts? I think Kako's pretty much just
100% what we
straight
needed.
bat and
Yeah, it's 100%. I have no problem. He was, at the academy, so he's a great choice from us. Like he's a player that hopefully will be a real sort of like a draw card player too. Like I think that's an important. Like we've lost Stringer, we'll talk about that later. But to have someone, he looks like the sort of guy who might even stir up a bit of. We've been talking about having someone might stir up the
grunt.
opposition. Yeah,
bit of C-bomb.
Mm.
It is good, and what I like about him, at least already, is that he seems genuinely excited to play for Essendon. He's playing with one of his best mates in Kade, and they're mates from their underage days. So, fingers crossed. We can get all hyped up about these draft picks a lot of the time, and then
we'll talk about that till the
it'll
end.
take 2 or 3 years before we really know what we've got. But that was our first pick. Our second pick of the evening. It wasn't the evening because we didn't have 2 on the first night.
How do you feel about this being dragged over 2 nights?
It's a spectacle.
Okay.
If people watch it, fair enough.
I didn't even watch the first night because I knew we only had 1 pick, and I thought if something popped up,
Well, I was watching it for that interest with Shanahan and the trade, and if we were going to,
Yep.
and just generally where Shanahan went.
Just for those who don't normally listen, we love Joe Shanahan, and we were hoping
really
to get him, but we didn't.
We'll be watching him at West Coast with interest next year. So we picked 37. Kale Gerine, I think is how they pronounced it. Gerine. It was definitely an Ein. 199 centimetre ruck forward.
200 I've read on other things. I'm fascinated by this. Okay. Can't they measure the kid and get it right?
Maybe it's my 99.5 and some of them round up, some of them round down.
I guess he's growing. Like they're all just 18-year-olds. There's still growth spurts to go.
And I believe he's a forward that can ruck as opposed to being a ruck that can play forward.
Well, I'll give you a little bit of... I've done a little bit of research on this one. So he was a forward in 17 and that, 16, 17, and then went through a growth spurt and so moved into the ruck in sort of that last year and a bit. And I watched the video of him on, the AFL website that they have, and my God, can the kid move. Like, for a kid that is 200 centimetres, we'll call it, 1 centimetre, I don't think we're arguing. Was outrunning the midfielders, like chasing balls, moved really well, good below the knees, good skills, kicks on the left and the right, wowzers. Interesting. I'm not saying that transfers to senior football, but he looked really good in junior football.
This is the thing, I suppose. What you hope is they do it at that level, and then when they come in and play 2 or 3 years, they can do it against that level. It's just a time thing.
That's right. But yeah, no, I can see why they liked him.
Strengths identified as agility, just that backs up what you were saying. Contested marking, I think that's something we really... Draper's good at it sometimes. Those pack marks as a ruckman, but not always. So something we lack. Kick penetration.
He was a long kick, actually. It was another thing. He had a set shot from outside 50, and as an 18-year-old, he bumped it I was like...
I don't feel like we've got a lot of penetrating kicks in our side at the moment. Physicality, production, not quite sure what production means, to be honest, in a football sense. And ruck craft. Yeah.
He's also was a little, tap over the back sort of guy, a little...
I was like, I like them.
He's nice.
And improvements required in decision-making and endurance. Endurance will come with him getting stronger, and decision-making will come with experience. That's all manageable. I wondered with this whether it said something towards Draper and that being out of contract at the end of 2025. We have no clue, obviously. But just a little light bulb going off there. Or it's just to replace Goldstein, which would also be very, very reasonable. We didn't have much of a break after that. With pick 39, we took Angus Clark, who has already won our 2-kilometre time trial. And you and I both don't quite know how to take that. Whether it's good on your kid or what's the rest of our club doing.
Yep. Can we pause for a second? Something is going ka-ching, ka-ching every 3 seconds. Ka-ching, like a little cash register keeps making a cash register sound from audio.
You must have something open.
I don't know anything.
I'm going to leave this keep rolling, by the way.
Okay. Go.
No, you fix it. You're right. You fix it.
Well, I don't know what it is. I've got no idea. It's just did it again. I don't know where it's coming from, Sam.
Have you got Chrome open? Chrome tells you what.
Just keep going. I'll close the other thing that I've got. Go.
All right. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
I know what it is. Found it.
good job, Nathan. Nathan, good job.
I had an auction site open.
Nathan loves his auctions.
I do love an auction. It's at $253 for sale at the moment.
Yeah, I do love your fucking auctions and
Keep
your
going.
barbecues.
I'm back. Well, is it like, they've finally said we need to draft kids that can run. Like, it's one of our big faults that we've had, because this kid ran away from Mason Redmond. And so they've said, well, let's draft kids like that. And so, yeah, that's a good thing. But then I go, well, how unfit are the rest of the guys? Like,
so,
anyway, that's fine.
South Australian boy from Glenelg, 188 centimetre. He's listed as a defender forward here, interestingly, but I believe he's just a medium sort of defender.
Well, they've got
Exactly
him in
like
the Mason Redmond type. Yeah. And he's living with Mason Redmond. And the other thing I found fascinating too, a bit reading up a bit about him. So he had to fly from, like, he's 4 hours north of Adelaide where he lives or something. So he had to get a plane every so often to get to training or whatever.
Jeez, yeah, right.
So he started splitting wood and selling wood to get the money to buy the tickets to fly. I went, well, there's a bit of commitment for a 17.
Commitment, and I mean, that's hard work.
Oh, yeah. Especially up there. It's mallee wood. Like, that stuff is hard. South Australian.
He'd be a tank. His strengths, kicking, hallelujah. Rate of improvement, so a bit of a bolter. Rebounding and versatility. Improvements, exposure and rawness.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He's been a bit injured and he's had a few things going on. So, and he's got really, like, when you see the footage of him, he's skinny in the arms, skinny in the chest. So he's a few years away.
Redmond was exactly like that. So, that's not that.
But running machine, so tick, and skills, tick.
Kicking.
So,
you identified this some time ago, that if we pick up a kid and that first line is an elite kick, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's right. And it should be second line, elite running.
Yes. So good pick. I mean, once you start to get to these late 30s, I mean, it's a bit of a lottery. You and I did some deep diving in the later picks, and there's kind of one a year, but there's plenty of premiership players that come from that 30 to 50 range, but there's plenty of poopers too. So.
And this year may be different because there were so many, like the first round went to 20, what did you go to, 20?
26, I think, 27.
26. So, like 37 is only 10 picks past that. So, it's a medium second round. So it's a funny way to look. I don't know yet. I guess time will tell on this.
Draft is a lottery anyway.
Yep.
So
I wonder if we'll get to the end of this, like in 3 or 4 years' time, 5 years' time, and we'll look back at this year's draft and go, well, that was the one. When we got those kids and that kid, he turned into, we got him at 60, him at 40, and they all turned into really good players.
You know what? You know who's going to do that?
Who?
Richmond.
Well, but theirs are all first round, so you'd hope that happens.
Hope so. Pick 61, a guy befitting of the Essendon Football Club with a name like Unwin. Reece Unwin.
Yeah.
From Greater Western Victoria Rebels, GWV Rebels.
Yep.
179 centimetre. Doesn't actually say what position he is. That's really handy.
Utility.
Yep. You like that word today.
I do.
We spent some time.
Well, he's played in a few different positions. Played back. He played forward. He can kick goals. Like, he can defend. So he probably more as a forward, I think, from what I read.
Yeah, okay. So this is interesting. His strengths: agility, defensive pressure, evasiveness. I like that. Goal sense, smarts, and speed. But
oh no,
improvements: finishing and kicking.
Oh, we've done it again. Well, I'll just put a line through him, Sam.
No. Let's give him
Unwin
some time.
will not win.
18 goals from 14 Coates Talent League appearances. So, I think anything as a footballer, anything more than a goal a game, I think you're going all right. It's only these really great key forwards that tend to get or average the multiple goals per game.
Okay.
20-metre sprint in 2.88 seconds and 5th in the agility.
Sounds like me, like when I play.
Sorry? The only thing you do in 2.88 seconds, I can't say on a podcast.
Don't you take it that low. Don't mention my mother.
I had nothing to do with your mother.
Yeah, I know what you do.
You No, I'm not
No, just move on to the next one.
Righto. Pick 70, I believe it was the last pick in the draft.
Second last.
Pick.
Get it right, Sam.
Are you flipping everyone off? It's quite right.
No, I'm scratching my eye.
Oh, sure. Pick 70. Zach Johnson. I was going to say Johnston.
Yep, we got a Johnson back in the team. I love the Johnsons when they used to play for us.
185 centimetre midfielder, Northern Knights.
Captain.
Strengths,
Captain,
footy IQ. I love that.
Potential. Yep.
Kicking, speed, and versatility. Improvements, contested game. Welcome to the club, mate.
He's on the outside. He's an outside fault.
Defensive acts. You and Dylan Shield might want a room together.
He's the Dylan Shield replacement.
Interestingly, born on Christmas Eve, 2006.
Yeah. This youngest player in the AFL, I believe he's listed as now.
Late, yeah.
17-year-olds
It is
coming
a bit
to the club.
strange. Like, I was born in 93. Obviously, you were born in 1893. It's quite bizarre seeing this 2006. Like, I was in year 7. I was at high school.
In year 7.
It's just odd to me.
I met my wife.
You've been through this. I haven't been through this yet. This is all new to me. Look, pick 70, not expecting a damn thing, to be completely honest, but if you get a decent player out of it, fantastic.
I did like the ticks here. He was the captain of the team. There's a tick in that because he's
leadership, yeah, for sure.
Like the kids that were in the club were pretty good players at that team. So he's obviously got great leadership. And the other thing too I liked about him is he's clearly very young. So like he's not. I don't know what the cutoff age is to playing next year, but he's not very far off playing again next year. And so anyway.
I got that
No, well, he's also good mates from my understanding with the boy we got last year. He was Kade, sorry.
No, another mate of Kade's.
Yeah, and Kako. So they're all pretty good mates. So
we're mates.
Anyway, I think that's enough. We like that.
Kade, I mean,
I like the idea of building culture, like mateship.
Yeah.
Because that's what keeps clubs together. Like you keep a group together,
and not just private school.
Even if they are shit.
Yeah. Well, take that. That rounded us out for the draft. We did trade for St Kilda's second round pick during the draft, and they improved their position on the night. So no implication for us next year on that, and we get their second round pick. So as of right now, we got 2 first round and 2 second round picks in 2025,
which is really
and we've traded out all 3rd and 4th round picks. So that's
and you and I have talked, and don't expect us to be a good team next year, and think 2 first round, 2 second round picks could be.
We're preying on Melbourne's downfall, really, and
yes, we are.
Take wherever we finish.
Yep, we could be bottom 4.
Yep. We'll get to the previews early next year, but yeah.
Yep.
So 3 more players have come into the club. So James Hird Academy as a Category B rookie. Jaden Nugent. I don't know how to say that. I never know how that's pronounced. I think I've seen him play VFL, and he's lightning quick.
Yep. Also, I read a little bit about him. Very excited to be representing the Vietnamese community. He's one of the first sort of players again. A bit like Kako is that that cultural sort of importance he feels. Joining the club. So that's another thing I like too. Kid that takes on responsibility.
Strengths, competitiveness, dare, versatility, and speed. So if you ever get the opportunity to play truth or dare with him, don't say dare.
Always go truth.
Strengths, yeah.
Truth. Every time. Damn, I can't tell the truth.
Improvements, composure, and kicking on the run. I mean,
kicking on the run.
I struggle to do that, to be fair. I understand that.
That's a very specific kicking situation.
Just don't give it to him on the fly.
And what are his strengths? Speed. So he's running a lot.
A bit like the Nick Hind that gives me. Can run very quick, but there's not a lot of brain action going on.
Well, Nick's gone, so what number did Nick have? Just swap him over. We'll tell the difference.
20-metre sprint in 2.89 seconds, so slightly slower.
Very similar to me, yeah. I think it's 2.10.
You just keep giving them to me, like wrapped up with a bow on it. And then the final pick of sorts in the pick 6 in the rookie draft from the Bendigo Pioneers, Archer Daywicks, not Sam as we thought, and we got very excited because it was
it could have been a combination of
our names. But anyway, pick 6 in the rookie draft. Now he is a 186 centimetre forward mid. Strength, aerial ability, competitiveness, kicking, overhead marking, scoreboard impact and versatility. Well, that's, to me, sounding a bit like Sam Durham.
And I watched the videos of him. Was impressed by his overhead marking.
Good.
Really good overhead marker for not a tall-looking kid.
And improvements, composure and consistency. I mean, that's half the club has that consistency.
You need to do the right thing when you got the ball.
Sure. Again, rookie draft, no expectations.
He plays footy, we're excited.
Really.
He's excited to be on the list. He's happy.
I can think of one rookie draft player that's still on our list, and that's Sam Draper. So,
True. He was pick 1 that year too, wasn't he?
He was arguably better than pick 1 in the actual draft.
Who was pick 1 in the actual
Andrew McGrath.
Oh, yeah, gross.
Just forget he existed. Fair enough, too.
Yeah, I did. I had to think about it. Why did we have pick 1? Oh, yeah, that's right. Pick 1. Yeah, it all makes sense now.
I do.
And
finally, from the Brisbane Lions supplemental selection period, which we love an SSP, Nicky Boy Martin medal.
We're strong with them.
Yeah. 39 games in 5 seasons at the Brisbane Lions. Reigning premiers Jackson Pryor, who's a bit of a utility, I believe. Defender utility.
Defender but played forward, sort of, again.
188 centimetre. Bang average size, really, 188 centimetres. But
23, which, just to bang home, is about our average now of our list.
Yeah. 2021, he played 18 games for Brisbane, which comprised of 14 wins and 4 losses. So, I mean, he's played in a reasonably good side. I reckon that might have been their first year they got good and went out in straight sets. But I think to play in a culture like that, it's just good to have someone like that on your list. And again, if it doesn't work out, he's cost us nothing.
Exactly. And he's coming from a great culture. I think is the important part there. He's going to come to the club and say, well, we do this and we won a premiership.
He played rounds 21, 22 and 23 in this year. So
Oh.
he featured late on in the year for Brisbane, not in finals. But, again, culture. It doesn't hurt to have people who have been around successful cultures. And
No. It's a really interesting pick this year because I think the thing that we take out of it is that we didn't go after a player. And this goes back to what was said by the club 3 or 4 or 5 months ago, whatever it was, that, we think the talent at the club's not at where we think it should be.
We don't have the top end talent yet.
And so they've gone, well, we're just going for kids and we're going to try and find talent in there. Or, maybe they'll look for those talented players when we've got, like next year, we talked about we could technically throw 3 first rounds at another team for a player.
Who might that? Yeah.
Just a thought.
And they will want first round draft picks for Chad Warner. So, I mean, there is a world in which that's possible.
Not saying that's what we're going to do, but
that's it.
Or we, who knows?
I did say if we ended up with 2 first round draft picks next year, I would be so sure that's what's going to happen.
So, you want to put your money on it? Yeah.
No, thank you.
Okay, good.
Don't have any money to put.
I just think it'd be exciting if we had 2 first round and second round picks next year. We could get some more talent.
Either way, it's just great talent. Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
So
let's throw all that against the wall
and see what sticks. The average age of the football club is now 23. After great difficulty, we worked out that without Goldstein, it was like 22 point something.
Yep. It's hard to watch Sam.
It's Google Docs. It was a bit different to Excel.
Yeah, Excel. Fair enough. Go with that.
And our average games is 70, but we worked out we had about 5 that had played more than 150, and we had about 10 or 12 that were less than 100. Including some of our better players, which it shocks me every time I see that.
Yeah, so if you take Goldstein away at 329, which hopefully doesn't play footy, we've got Zach Merritt at 229, Dylan Shield at 220, Parrish at 160, and then Gresham at 158, And then a couple more, 57 McGrath and 53 Langford.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not... There's a lot of players under 100. Like we talked about Jordan Ridley, 94.
Durham, Caldwell.
Mackay, Caldwell, Draper, Martin, Durham.
I do forget this a lot.
So...
Now, you've got here on our little run sheet that you just want to highlight, I guess, not to get too carried away with the draft and just to make the point that it's a lottery and... I think we as Essendon supporters, probably all supporters, get a bit carried away. So,
Well, what I wanted to say was that so you read all these, like you read, plays like Mason Redman, or you're a great kid. You read all these, watch all these podcasts, and then talk
Plays
them
like
up
Isaac
about,
Heaney.
yeah, how good they all are, and then you go back through the last few years. So last year we picked Kade, Roberts, and Luau, and
So
I mean
far,
they're
2
still,
out of 3.
yeah, Archie Roberts played footy. Kade looks like a really good football player.
Yeah.
So that's last year. And maybe we're just getting better at this. This is the unknown for me. The year before that, Sardis, Lewis Hayes, Davey, and Davey. Now, Sardis wasn't even playing senior footy this year. Lewis Hayes, actually, we both really like. So, okay with that one. Davey's been delisted, and the other Davey,
We're not sure.
yeah, not sure. The year before that was Hobbs,
God.
Lord, and McDonuts, who...
So Lord's gone. McDonald's
Lord's gone. Hobbs didn't play a lot of footy this year. He was really good the year before, to be honest, but that's when we had a few injuries and he jumped in and filled some spots, but he can't get back into that side. And
2020, Cody Brand, Josh Eyre are both gone. Cox, Rhett Perkins, and Reed, who I think we're just not sure on any of them. We know the talent's there with Reed. The concern is the injuries. Perkins didn't really come on this year as we might have hoped.
He should have.
And Cox,
his first game, he was unreal.
It was unbelievable. Cox, a combination of injuries, and I think a bit of just, we're not sure where to play him. I think...
Utility.
Yeah, well...
And then Reed has just been injured for 5 years.
Yeah,
seriously,
we can't criticise him just
he's
yet.
played 9 games, while the other 2 who he's drafted with have played close to 50.
Well, I think Perkins is 60, 70 now.
Yeah, so over 50 games, he's played 9. So,
yeah.
And at the moment, when you look at that list, I mean, I don't know who jumps at me. It's Nate Caddy at the moment, who I'm going, well, I think he'll play 250 games.
One.
Yeah.
Should we tell the people?
What are we telling them?
2024, I Alone was a player sponsor of the big dog, Nate Caddy. I've always wanted to do it, and I jumped on the new player and met him once, and he was what you'd expect for a kid of 18-year-old fresh into the system. But this year, 2025, me and you were doing it. And the name...
The Don Pod.
Is the Don Pod. So the Don Pod is officially a player sponsor.
Woohoo!
You get nothing for it, I'll add. But
we get stuff.
We get stuff. I mean, if I move my head right, you can see a signed jersey.
What about the other one?
See the 30? But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. Put the Don Pod on it. So our name will be on the Essendon FC website. So cop that every other supporters podcast.
And I think we have to go with him every year because he could be the best player we've ever had ever.
Possibly, yes. And if you make it to any of these events down here in the Big Smoke,
you know me.
You can actually talk to them. No, I can't talk to people.
13 beers in, I will. I'll talk to every motherfucker.
No, I need a lot of beers to talk to Essendon players too.
Yep.
And we might end up with a bit of a monthly appearance.
Whoa, we've just done the poor bloke in for coming on to this kid's podcast every month.
To be completely honest, you and me have both said we don't want players on this podcast.
No, we've always said that we prefer just to make our own shit up, to be honest, because we don't want those, and we don't want to put them in situations where they have to answer things that I don't think they want to answer.
But
why were you so shit on the weekend?
I think for me, they're trained
to be less shit.
They're trained to say the right things, and you're just never going to get anything out of them, which is fine. I get
unless you're Draper.
Unless you're Draper and you can talk about things that actually happened.
Yep.
In the end. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of cool. Don Potter officially player sponsors, so
awesome.
Go us. I
have one other thing too I wanted to mention.
Please go. Zoom's just told us we have 10 minutes left.
That's no problem. I just All Australian.
Yeah, big yeah.
Gay.
What?
Gay. Matty Gay?
Right, okay. You need to provide way more context than that.
I did wonder if she... Yeah, so... I went to used to work with an Aaron Gay. Lovely bloke, as.
That's quite a common...
I wonder if they were related. I haven't seen him for years. Lovely bloke, as.
If you're listening. Cool. She the only one we've got?
I believe she was the only one. Halfbacker.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's all I was just checking out.
I did watch the girls this year too.
I watched a few games. It's just I feel sorry for the time and the footy on at this time of year. I'm like,
I was having this conversation with someone. I don't think it was you. And they were saying why can't they just be curtain raisers during the men's season? Because of the optics of it. Any curtain raisers are second best, and they can't have the AFLW being perceived to be the second best to the AFL
I don't
men's.
think- yeah.
But I think,
I don't
yes,
see
that
it
matters.
as that.
That absolutely matters. But like,
Yep.
we'd get a lot more interest in it, I think, and a lot more people watching it.
Hmm.
If I don't
I don't
know,
even like the
it's
time
an
they're playing. Like,
impossible.
they're playing in summer.
Yeah,
The poor
it's-
bastards.
It's an impossible thing when you're doing this whole men and women competition, and
I don't think it's impossible. I still think the rugby league are doing it better. They played their
they
grand final around the time they played their men's grand final. I think it might even be that off week or something like that, or the week after or something like that. So they churn along at about the same speed, and they just play them, and people go and watch them. So I think the AFL's just shit scared of it.
I think we're also missing a trick not to have the VFL as curtain raisers for what it's worth.
I think there should be a curtain raiser game. I miss that. I think that's. I know
Well,
I'm
it's like
old.
country footy, isn't it? You have your juniors, and then throughout the day it goes up to the
Yeah,
seniors.
reserves, seniors, and you build up to that. And the crowd builds up, and
Yeah.
it adds to the game instead of just rocking up and still quiet, dead quiet. Then the big players run out.
I do like the vibe at the women's games. It's a really nice family-friendly, kids-friendly vibe. I'll be honest. I did enjoy taking my daughter, but what do you want from it? Do you want more people to be watching it and interested in it? Then, yeah. Anyway, let's not get political.
No, that's right. Well,
Good on
one
you, Maddie. for
AFL
saying-
thing quickly too. Another thing. John Longmire situation. What did you thoughts?
Odd timing. They were probably fortunate that they had someone ready to go like Dean Cox. Just he's been as assistant there
He's
for
been there a long
donkey's
time. Do you
years.
reckon
and-
Essendon would talk to him, or
He's got a role at Sydney.
got a what?
He's staying
A role?
at Sydney in like a director of coaching or some malarkey like that. I would have talked to him because, I mean, yes, their history in grand finals is appalling, but they've made 4 grand finals. Like they've been a pretty good side.
They won
over-
final, Sam.
over 10 years. I'll take
Yeah,
that,
their effort in grand finals is a bit shittery.
especially the last 3 years. Anyway, yeah, interesting one. But
That's all.
all right, I think that'll do us this time around. Zoom's going to boot us out in 6 minutes. we got the
done well,
Povo
Kevin.
pack in the off season. We pay for it during the regular season. I hope people know that. Anything else to add? Anything from you?
No, we'll catch up. I think probably in the new year after the pre-season's training started, with no players are really major injuries. So we've got a few have come back from some surgery. The one to note with the 2-kilometre time trial too, I think, was that Menzies was the third fastest.
Apparently he slimmed
Shed
down quite a bit.
shed a bit of weight and running like a little freak. So maybe he knows the pressure's on him.
Not that we'll ever know how much he weighs, but anyway.
No, that's right. Can't. Yeah, that's true. Not allowed to talk about that. So hopefully that consistency, sort of, or that, just we get through to the Christmas break and New Year with not too many.
Just a
ridiculous
healthy
injuries.
list, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get that typical excitement around February, March, which, by the way, is probably when we'll next. You'll see
That's
our
when-
ugly mugs on a screen.
That's when our favourite player will go down with some
Yep,
12-month
Peter
injury.
Wright, like he did a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Kade or something like that.
Don't even speak it.
Oh, touching wood.
Are you? It's kind of weird.
Not my. What is my wood? It's my desk.
Anyway, just had to throw it off a tangent, didn't you?
I didn't.
No, that was my
I
fault.
said touching wood. I think everyone accepts that as an expression.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, they do that.
There's a microphone there. Yeah, no, fair enough. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. As always, we'll say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, stay safe.
Happy Hanukkah.
And yeah, if that's what you're into, that's fine. And even though it's off season, a big fat go Dons.
Go Bombers.